All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Manifest the Rest with me, Svetlana. So, we're just going to dive into it today. I feel like I really stopped with the updates lately. Maybe I'll share something. This week, this was the blood moon, and I don't know too much about astrology. All right, let's try that again. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Manifest the Rest with me, Svetlana. So, a few updates. This week has been tough. I'm not gonna lie. It was a blood moon, and I I love astrology, but I don't know too much. Like, I know a fair amount. I'm very into the astrology, and I truly believe that it impacts how we act, how we feel, based on like what time of year you were born and all of that. But besides that, that's where I stop. But I'm still going to say there's something with the planets anytime that I feel off. Okay, that's my go-to. Anytime I'm feeling crazy or emotions are out of whack, Mercury must be in retrograde. Like that's my go-to. But this week I was just feeling so drained, so exhausted, so like doubtful. And I just searched like, is there an eclipse or something? And then I found out there was a blood moon. I usually do know these things a little bit in advance, but I missed this one. But anyways, thank you, social media, for updating me. So I found out there was a blood moon, and then I was like, of course, everything makes sense why everything's coming up. I also I do have cat allergies, and I was away from the cat, so then I came back, and the allergies really affect me. I'm doing everything I can, but I just get very drained. Like I wake up feeling like I just did a 5 hour hot yoga class. So working on that still. But I think everything's about the eclipse, especially because a lot of people around me have been feeling the same exact way. So it can't just be allergies, right? Everyone's been feeling like fatigued and the limiting beliefs, man. If you've been doubting yourself this week, apparently eclipse season lasts until early October. So somebody said like hold on to your hats, and I was like, "Oh boy." But if you've been feeling doubtful, it's okay. Things like this come up different times of year, different times of the season. We just have to lean into it. We have to work with it. And that's exactly what I've been doing. So I always talk about how we don't want to spiral, right? You never want to spiral. And that is not, I don't do that. I don't spiral. And if I'm feeling off, if I'm feeling lazy or tired, I actively take steps to get out of that, to shift that energy because that energy is not fun. When you're feeling lazy and tired and sad and doubtful, like that's not high frequency. That's feeling like crap. And we don't like that. So whenever that happens for me, I have my toolkit, right? I always talk about having your toolkit of different things that work for you. So for me, it's going on a walk, getting outside that helps so much. Like I honestly, I forget how much it helps. Just moving your body, moving the energy, getting outside in nature and sunshine. If you have that still, right? If you can get outside in the sun, please do it. So that helps me. I'll meditate. I got EFT tapping, journaling. I'll play some music, like some happy, fun, upbeat music. My millennial playlist, that's my go-to. What else? I'll call a friend, talk to somebody, right? Talk about something that's not focusing on my thoughts. So I've got my toolkit and I lean into it. But I also want to say I'm not like forcing it. Like this is happening, emotions are coming up, doubts, beliefs, like energy is not where it usually is. That's okay. And I allow that. I notice it and I work with it. So I'm not over here saying, why isn't this working? I'm not over here saying I gotta go, work out. I gotta work out more. I gotta sign up for this class. Like that's just not vibing with me. So the reason I'm sharing this is if you're feeling like this, if you're feeling a little off, lean into it, but also like work with it. Maybe I shouldn't say lean into it. Don't lean into it. Lean with it. Work with it. Okay. You're not feeling as good as usual. That's okay. Let's do what we can to kind of move the energy around, maybe lift the frequency up a little bit. But if it's not where it usually is, that's okay, right? We fluctuate, we go up and down. It's not normal to always feel at a certain level. So, just want to like remind you, we have emotions, we have feelings, things come up, your energy fluctuates. Let's do what we can to again, shift the energy. It's always about moving it around. We don't want it to sit there and feel stuck to the point where we just almost like dig ourselves into a hole where we feel like sad and dead and lazy and net low frequencies, right? Okay. So that's all I wanted to say there. And we're working with it. I'm feeling pretty good right now. So we're recording the podcast. Mm. I made my coffee, of course, second coffee. But let's get into today's episode. And today I want to talk about why you're putting the same goals on your vision board, on your goal list every single year, year after year. You're putting the same thing and it's just not manifesting. And I'm gonna explain to you what's going on here because I've been there. And I'm not gonna lie, I still sometimes have some goals that I do repeatedly put down. But that's okay. I'm aware of why I do it, and it's something that I'm gonna maybe like expand on the goal, but you'll understand what I mean after we get through this episode. So, the first thing is you're setting goals that are way too vague. Things like get healthy, or exercise more, or get in a relationship, or get a new job. That is so vague. I can't even, I just can't. No, guys, that's not specific to any level. We don't have to get into the nitty gritty, super specific details of the goal, but we have to get more specific than that because here's the thing. If you say something like, I want to manifest more money, if you find a quarter on the ground, you have just manifested more money. Do you get what I'm putting down here? Like the universe gets the message and it delivers. You wanted more money, you got a quarter. Let's talk about how much money do you want? Right? I want to get a 5% raise. I want to make 50K more on my salary. In my new job, I want it to be this much, right? Let's get specific there. Otherwise, the universe is like, okay, this is very open-ended. Let's try. Or you say, let's say you have a goal to get a relationship, right? You want to manifest a partner. If you just leave it as a relationship, you might end up dating somebody that is so toxic, right? That's not the person for you. So when we say I want a relationship, we gotta like dive in. What kind of relationship? I want a healthy, a loving, a long-lasting romantic partnership. That's what I'm looking for. And we can even go into more details of all the qualities that we want in a partner. So you can get as specific as you want, but at least take it a step further than get healthy, get a relationship. All right. Even if like it's a house, you want a house. How big of a house, right? How much does it cost? In what like state? Give me something. Give the universe something to work with. And again, there's human design where you can figure out if you're a specific or a non-specific manifester. Honestly, I keep forgetting what I am. I think I am a non-specific. So again, I'm interested in all of these things, human design, astrology, numerology, all of that stuff, but to a certain level. Like I don't dive in super deep into everything, as you can see, because I forget if I'm a non-specific or specific. I think I'm specific. Anyways, before I take this on for another minute, you don't have to figure out like I want a white house with a wooden door that's brown with these types of doorknobs. Like we don't have to get that specific. If it feels good to you, then by all means do it, but you don't have to narrow in and hone in on those types of details. But let's get a little bit, let's give something. Like how do you want to feel? Okay, and this goes into my next goal. Your next goal, my next point. Man, it's Friday, guys. My brain's not fully working. Maybe I need more coffee. But you're getting the real and the raw here again. Remember, I'm recording this, so the video's on YouTube if you want to see me be confused. So, my next point here of why you're putting the same goals down is you're focused on the outcome. You're focused on the result instead of the identity shift, the feeling, right? I just said, how are these goals going to make you feel? If you are just after the thing, you are results driven. And that's not a bad thing per se, but it's not going to actually make it's not gonna actually manifest those goals because you're gonna get it, but it's not gonna feel as good. And then you get it because it doesn't match how you want it to feel, you're gonna need to raise the goal again. Or maybe you get it and then you're like, okay, now more. Like I want more money. And then you manifest more money and then you're like, oh, okay, wait, now I want more money. because you're after that result. We need to be after the feeling, right? The identity shift. Who are you going to be? Who are you going to become? Who do you need to become to get those goals, right? What feelings do you want? What this house, what this relationship, right? So that's another part of getting specific with these goals. Why do you want a relationship? Just to say you have a relationship because everybody else does? No, it's probably because you want to feel like loved. You want to feel secure, right? You want to feel those emotions behind having a relationship. When you are able to actually understand why you want these things, you'll be able to achieve those goals more and more, right? Why do you want a house? Because everybody else puts a house on their vision board. Why do you want a new car? Because everybody else, like that's what people typically put on their vision board, like a fancy car. Well, why do you want it? Because it's cool. If that's why you want it, that's fine. Right? I just think it looks cool. I want it. Okay. But own that. Make sure you know that you understand, like, oh, it's going to make me feel cool. Even that is still a feeling. Not the best. Okay. I don't always recommend those things, but by all means, you can put whatever you want on the vision board, on the goal list, but just make sure you know why it's there. The next, the next thing is, are your goals yours? All right. I feel like all of these points are kind of relating to another. Like, why'd you put that house on your vision board? Because everybody else is doing it. Is it your goal or is it somebody else's goal? Right? If these goals are things that you think you should have, things you should achieve, or maybe things other people have done, you're not gonna achieve them. Or maybe you will, but not as fast. We need to, and they're not going to feel fulfilling because it's not something you actually wanted. We need to truly, like, we need to be honest with ourselves. What is it that you want? Do you want a big mansion or do you want a little, like, condo on the beach? Do you want to climb the corporate ladder or do you want to own a food truck? Like, what do you want? If we're not honest with ourselves, we're not going to get it and it's not going to feel good. Like, why are you manifesting a goal that somebody else wants for you? It's like going to dinner and having somebody else order, like, oh, I want that chicken, and you hate chicken. It's like, well, they think it's a good meal, so I'll get it. But make that make sense, guys. So, what these goals, of course, it goes a little deeper. I know what the goals because maybe your family, tells you this is something that's really good to have, or maybe society. I mean, come on, society has programmed all of these things within us. Society tells you like this is the path. This is what you should do. You should manifest a very high paying corporate job and then buy a house and then this, right? That's the life path. That's the kind of standard typical path that we hear about. But maybe it's not yours. So if you don't want that, stop trying to convince yourself you want it. When you are truly passionate and excited about your goals and you want to feel successful, you can become successful in whatever way you want to. But if you're lying to yourself of like, this is the only way to be successful, I want to do this, but you don't actually want to, guys, you're just not going to do it, right? Choosing goals based on what you think you should want based on, again, family, society, trends is not going to work versus choosing goals that feel deeply aligned. When you're excited, when you're passionate, when you're lit up by something, you're ready to go all in. You're ready to commit, put in the hours, put in the work, whatever you got to do. But if it's something you're resistant to and you're like, you're going to half-ass it. Like, you might do the work, but you're not going to like really feel passion behind it. So make sure your goals are yours. Next, okay, this next point is going to tie in with that. You're relying on willpower. So, again, if this isn't something that you really want, you're going to rely on discipline and willpower, right? Because it's not something that's you don't like identify as somebody who wants this goal because this isn't really what I want. But also, when it comes to willpower and discipline, you need to make sure that you are building habits, right? You are building systems. You are rewiring your subconscious to help you support this goal, right? If you're just doing the things to do them and hopefully it gets you there, it's not going to work. Like weight loss. If you are not identifying as somebody, this goes back to embodiment, the subconscious work, right? You need to address what's going on behind the scenes, the subconscious mind, the beliefs that you have, the stories. Because if you're just relying on willpower and discipline, I'm going to cut calories, I'm going to wake up earlier and go to the gym, but you don't identify as somebody who does that, it's not going to last, right? That goal, you might get there, but it's not going to last because your subconscious mind is always going to overpower willpower and discipline. I've done episodes about this before. I talk about it all the time. Your subconscious mind runs the show. It is 95% of the brain. It runs the show. I don't care how strong your willpower is. I don't care how much discipline you think you have. I don't even care for that word, discipline. That's 5%. 5%. So we got to change the habits. We got to change the stories, the beliefs that we have wired, right? If you want to make a lot of money, but subconsciously you believe that money is hard to come by, you're always going to self-sabotage. You're never going to actually get to that goal. You're never going to make the money that you want to get, right? With weight loss. If you don't believe that you are somebody who is capable of being fit, if you don't identify as a fit, healthy, active person, and you don't like constantly put that in your mind every day, you're just thinking, oh, I should cut my calories. Oh, I shouldn't have cake. That's not a way to live, first of all. But it's also not going to work, right? We need to build the foundation, the subconscious mind, those beliefs, the values, the stories, the narratives. That is the foundation. And then we build upon that, right? Then we build like the habits, then we maybe change the environment, then we change our actions. Like then we build more steps. Like, oh, okay. I'm gonna wake up earlier because I'm the type of person that wakes up earlier. I'm not waking up earlier because I think I should, because it will likely get to my goal. Absolutely not. Okay, that's not how it's going to work. And this is for, again, any goal that you have. If you want a big house, okay, what's the reverse engineer, right? We got to reverse engineer everything. And it truly starts with the subconscious mind. A house. Do you believe that you can live in a big house? Do you see that for yourself? Or, maybe you've come from like a family that's never like had that abundance before. We got to start reprogramming that. This relates to that example I just said. Like, if you want to make more money, but you believe money is hard to come by, maybe you have a story in your mind, like, you don't know what it's like to live in a huge home with a big backyard. You don't know if it's possible for you. Well, if you're putting that on your vision board, that's great. That's like, I love the big dreams here. Awesome. Do you believe it's possible for you? Do you see yourself in a big home? And if you don't, we got to start working on that. Why not? Do you not feel worthy of it? Do you have some beliefs of like, this isn't possible for me? I don't know. We got to erase that. We got to reprogram it. Okay. We start by, well, using the toolkit, visualization, right? Look up pictures of the home, walk into homes. This is my favorite exercise, right? Walking into those designer stores. If you want the bag, act like you belong. Make it normal. Walk into big homes. Go to open houses. Drive around big, rich neighborhoods. Make it feel comfortable. It's going to feel uncomfortable at first, but then you're slowly going to start kind of chipping away at those old beliefs. And then suddenly you're going to totally see yourself in this big home. And yes, now it can be on your vision board, and now it actually feels like it's going to happen. But we got to make sure we address those beliefs, we address the foundation. And then the last point I'm going to make here with the subconscious mind is the fears, right? Again, when you don't believe you can do it, when you have fears that you aren't facing, you're going to self-sabotage. So let me think of a good example here. Like if you want to be a pop star, a rock star, like a worldwide public speaker, but you have this fear of judgment. You have this fear of failure. I mean, fear of failure can relate to anything. So we can tie this into any goal that you have. But if you have that fear and you're not confronting it, you're not facing it, you're going to constantly self-sabotage. You're going to make excuses. You're going to get opportunities that you're going to shut down because you'll say, that can't be real, or I don't know if I'm ready for that. You have a fear of failure, you have a fear of judgment, or you have some other fear. And until we face that, until we uncover that fear and we just take courageous action and go for it and believe it's possible for us, again, this is all tying with the subconscious mind and those stories. But if you don't face that, you're going to continuously self-sabotage, right? Whether it's thinking these are like fake, this email can't be real, this opportunity isn't going to last, right? This is too good to be true. Whatever it is, you're going to make those excuses. You're not going to allow those opportunities into your life to actually get to those goals, right? So, what happens is you're going to keep repeating cycles with these goals. You keep trying the same strategies without changing your mindset. This is all coming down to the mindset. It's shocking. If you don't shift your mindset and you keep trying to do the same thing, I've been there for so many years, particularly with fitness and confidence. I did the same thing. I did workouts a day. I cut my calories. I tracked my calories. I tried this diet and this diet. I just did the same thing all the time and nothing ever worked. And that's literally the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over again, hoping this time it will work. You have to change the mindset. So I had to go back into my mindset, subconscious mind, tell me what stories am I telling myself? I had so many limiting beliefs around being fit, around getting in shape. So obviously I kept self-sabotaging. Obviously none of this was going to work because my subconscious was running the show. So I always put that goal, get healthier. So I got specific of how I wanted to get healthy, right? Eating intuitively, like feeling so good in my body, doing workouts that were like intentional, that felt good, right? I kept forcing myself to go to these hit workouts that I despised, thinking it'll work. Why would I want to live life doing these workouts that I hated? Like that didn't make sense. So once I worked with my mindset and figured out, oh, I've got these stories, I've got these narratives, I have these habits that I need to change, and I need to start acting like the person that has this goal. And only then did I actually start achieving that goal. All right, another thing that likely happens with these goals and these cycles, right? I'm talking about repetitive patterns, is you add on more goals, or maybe you change them slightly without actually looking back and reflecting on why did that last goal not stick? Why did it not work out? Right? Again, I've done this too. I either would write the same goal over and over, or I would just like tweak it a little bit, right? Instead of like getting a new job, I would say like, what would I even say? I don't remember what my goals used to be. I'm sorry. Um, like get healthy. Let's stick to that. That's the only thing that can pop up. Relationships. Okay. Sorry. My brain on a Friday. For a relationship, rather than saying I want a relationship, I would say like, oh, I want to like stop dating people that aren't a potential like, long-term partner. I literally would just rephrase the same goal, thinking maybe if I phrase it this way, it'll actually work. Okay. Do you see what I mean by that? So I want you to look back on your goals and see, okay, is there something that I literally just keep putting on there, but a little bit different, like just tweaking it slightly? So if we don't reflect back on why am I not meeting that person, right? Why am I like attracting all of these unavailable, emotionally unavailable partners? Again, we start digging deep. We start going into the mindset, the subconscious mind. What beliefs do I have here? What stories am I telling myself? And it might not be obvious. You probably, like most likely, you don't know what these stories are. You don't know what you're repeating. It's not like you're walking around saying, "Oh, I believe that men are all liars, so this is why I'm attracting unavailable, like emotionally unavailable men." You're obviously not walking around saying that, but subconsciously you might have that belief. That might be a narrative that you have. So we got to reflect, we got to dive in deep and figure out, okay, why is this a repetitive pattern? What's going on here? And lastly, this is 2 points here actually. One is this shame and guilt of not getting it. And I'm sure we have all felt that. When you write the same goal over and over, you don't feel good enough because you're like, why do I keep not hitting it? Like, what am I doing wrong? I suck. Like, maybe if I just worked harder, if I just had more discipline, like, why can't I just achieve this goal? And you start honestly spiraling. Like, you're shaming yourself for not doing it this time. You're guilting yourself. You're not good enough. You're starting to doubt your worth and then lowering your confidence. That is never going to allow you to achieve your goal. right? We need to do the opposite. In order to achieve the goal, we got to crank up the confidence. We got to crank up the like excitement and power and like the trust that we're going to do this, that we know we can, we're capable. So I want you to like be easy with yourself. It's okay that you didn't hit it. I just listed out everything that likely has happened, right? Why you haven't achieved these goals and the patterns of why this keeps repeating this cycle. So let's dive in. Let's dig deep. We are where we are. There's no point in going back. Like we can't change the past, right? We didn't achieve the goal last year. We didn't achieve it the year before. That's okay. We're going to change it this year. We're going to achieve it this year because we can't go back and change history. So let's stop like shaming ourselves for it. Let's stop feeling bad about it. And I know you do this because we're all high achievers. That's the other thing. I want you to make sure that when you do achieve something, celebrate it. I honestly was going to do a whole episode about this, and I might. We do not celebrate ourselves enough, our achievements, because we are high achievers. What happens is we achieve a goal and we immediately raise it, right? You make this amount of sales and you're like, oh, I got to make 10 more sales. Maybe from comparison, or maybe just your own like just you're very driven and you just want to keep achieving more and more, that's not a bad thing by any means. Or maybe you're competitive. So, like, you did this, but somebody else did this. And now you're thinking, oh, I want to do that too. Like, I can do it. That's great. That is awesome. You're driven. You're ready to go. You're a goal chaser. But when you keep raising the bar without celebrating your achievements, you're also not going to feel good enough. And that, again, will lower your confidence. So I need you to make sure, even if you haven't reached that big goal, have you made any progress to it? Let's celebrate that. Okay. And celebrate it however you want. And I also just want to like make a comment here. I'm not talking participation trophy celebrations. We don't need to have a party every single time you do one thing, right? Maybe you're trying to wake up earlier. I don't know why I keep using that example. We don't need to celebrate every single day that you woke up at 5. But the first time, or maybe after a week of being consistent with this, celebrate yourself. Just a little like, fuck yeah, I did it. I'm proud of myself. Not immediately being like, okay, well, this doesn't count. I got to make it to like 21 days. I got to make this a habit before I can celebrate. No, just celebrate it and then great, let's keep it going. We don't need, so you got what I mean here. We don't have to celebrate every single day that you brush your teeth or every single day that you worked out, but celebrate the progress. Celebrate like a month of working out consistently. I'll give you a personal example. I am doing my own challenge right now where I'm trying to go live on Instagram and it makes me so uncomfortable. And the first day I did it, I I was like I was so nervous. I don't know why, because I love talking in front of people. I post content online. I have a podcast. And yes, there's a variable here. Like I'm going live and people can hop on and see, and I can't edit or anything. But this is also why I'm recording and filming these so that I can't really do much editing. But I was so nervous. And after I did it, I was proud of myself. I celebrated it. I was like, yes, okay, you did it. You said you were going to do it. You didn't push it back. I thought of the idea and I did it immediately. I didn't wait till tomorrow. I didn't wait till I prepped. I just did it. And I celebrated that for myself. I was so excited. I like told a couple people, I'm like, I did it. I'm going to keep doing this. But now I'm not celebrating every single day I go live. Like now I'll celebrate when I go live for 30 days consistently. Okay, so I'm celebrating, right? I'm acknowledging my achievements, and then I'm going to raise the bar and then keep going. Not like the participation trophy. I'm so anti-participation trophies. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. But I hope you get what I mean here. Let's acknowledge our achievements. Let's acknowledge our progress because we need to lift ourselves up. We don't enough. And then let's raise the bar. I want you to keep being a high achiever. I want you to keep raising the bar. I want you to keep achieving small goals, big goals, all the goals. But I want you to make sure that you are empowered, that you're lit up, and that you know you're capable of this and keep in raising the confidence. That's what it's about. Your self-confidence, not self-sabotage. We don't want that. Not doubt, not shame, not guilt, but confidence and trust that you can do this. You can achieve every goal. All right, so to break the cycle, that was one thing. That's step one to break the cycle. Reflect, acknowledge your achievements. Grab a journal, grab a piece of paper, write down everything you've achieved in the last couple of months, right? Towards your goal or just things that you're proud of. And that's already going to get you pumped up. And then do everything that I mentioned initially of the goals, like reflect on your goals, get more specific. Mm. And let's start achieving these goals. All right. So get crystal clear. I'm going to kind of summarize and maybe add in a few additional points here. To break the cycle, we're going to get specific. Specific on the goal and specific on the why. Why do you want this goal? Right? Why are you putting it? Is it your goal? Do you want this? Does it light you up? How is it going to make you feel? Then I want you to focus on the process. All right, focus on the daily habits, not just the end result. Focus on the identity shift. Focus on how you feel, right? We don't want to focus on that result because when you keep doing that, you're going to keep, it's not going to feel good. You're just going to keep finding a new goal, finding some other result that you think will make you feel a certain way. Let's address the feeling. What is it that we want to achieve? How do we want to feel? And that is what the process is, right? The process of becoming this version of you. That's the goal, right? But we do need a tangible goal so we can actually create the process. Okay. But again, we're not just focused on the end result. We're focusing on the daily habits that create the person that allow you to become the version of you that actually achieves all of these goals. All right. So connect to that feeling right now, today. Going back to embodiment. Embodiment is so big with these goals. Don't focus on the failure. Don't guilt yourself. Don't shame yourself that you haven't achieved it yet. Just cut that out. That's not going to get us anywhere. Right? At the end of the day, focusing on how you're not there yet, focusing on how you failed, quote unquote, failure is not even a thing. Go back to my other episodes about failure. You're learning, you're growing. That's what failure is. It's the best. It's trial and error. I love failing. It teaches me so much. Failing's not it. It's a chance for you to reflect. All right, what can I do differently? How can I adjust these goals? How can I dive into my mindset? What's blocking me here? What subconscious beliefs do I have? What stories am I telling myself? Right? Right? So start with the small shifts, right? What do I believe about this? Instead of saying like, I want to run a marathon, let's dive in and let's change that to say, I'm somebody who moves my body every day and I'm somebody that's going to run a marathon. Okay. We're changing the verbiage here, but we're also going to dive in and see, okay, do I actually believe I'm going to run a marathon? If I haven't moved my body every single day, if I haven't run consistently for a certain amount of time, how the hell am I going to run a marathon? All right, let's get real here. So let's start. I'm somebody who runs every day. I'm somebody who knows they can run a marathon. I see it. I visualize it. It's coming. It's happening. That's how we get to these goals. Not just making some far out goal, throwing it on a piece of paper, throwing it on your vision board and thinking, okay, let's manifest it. That's what so many people do. That's what, again, what I did, talking from experience. I whip up some big fun goals that would be cool, and then I do it, or I try to do it, and then I don't do it, and then I'm like, why didn't it work? Well, here's why. I don't identify as somebody who can achieve that goal. The goal wasn't specific enough. The goal wasn't mine. It was just something that was trending, something I thought would be cool. I remember I used to want to run a marathon. Why? I don't know. I just thought it'd be cool to say. I did a half marathon and I was very proud of myself for that. And I realized I never ever want to do that again. And that's just me, right? So I got rid of that marathon goal because there's just no need. It's very impressive. Would it be cool? Sure. Do I know that I hate running with a passion? Yeah. So maybe that's not going to be something I keep putting on my goal list. All right. And then, of course, to wrap it up, celebrate your progress, right? I know I started that with the how to break the cycle, but celebrate yourself, right? No matter how tiny, your brain, like, it gets rewarded and it wants to keep going. When you see the progress, when you get excited, you're lit up and you're ready to go. So celebrate it, whether it's like popping champagne or just acknowledging it, right? Being like, oh, I did it, like telling somebody, go call a friend and be like, hey, guess what I just did? That's it. So I hope that this helps you understand. I mean, I'm sure it did because this is why you've been putting the same goals down. But I do hope that you enjoy this episode and you did get some new insight as to what might be the reason behind why you're not achieving these goals, why you find yourself putting the same freaking thing on your vision board year after year after year. And I hope that you adjust those goals, you dive in, you dissect, you figure out what's going on here, and save this episode for the next time that maybe you get frustrated with a goal that you still haven't achieved, right? It's okay. We're going to get there. We just got to figure out what steps we need to take to get there. All right. So, as always, thank you guys so much for listening. If you loved this episode, please rate it on Spotify and iTunes, wherever you listen, share with your friends. Really helps get the message out, get the podcast out to more people. And with that, I'll talk to you guys next week.